everybody. So I'm trying a new background. I've gotten a little bit of critique saying that I could jazz up the background and I don't have the funds to buy a backdrop or anything. So because of that, my lighting is a little more dramatic for a topic that is not that dramatic. We are diving back into another film kind of study analysis cinema thing today. Um, I just happened to come across this article that caught my attention and it actually kind of irked me. So it's something that I want to discuss. So we're going to get into that in just a second here. Who's the queen of being unprepared? Me. I happened to come across this article on Google homepage from The Guardian, and I'm not going to say who the reporter's name is or anything because I don't know how that works. So it's just an opinion, but I'm not going to mention her name because I got some copyright strikes from YouTube last week, and I just don't want to have to deal with anything like that again. So, but basically, this journalist claims that Pixar is ruining classic cinema. And that raising your kids on Pixar, as apparently this woman did, has ruined cinema for them. And, okay, bold statement. But the points that are made in this article don't really seem to match up to what classic cinema is, in my opinion, or in probably anybody else's. This journalist basically claims that her kids won't watch a film made before 2005. She mentions a little bit in there about how her kids are embarrassed of her. And honestly, whose kids aren't embarrassed of their parent, especially in their preteen to teen years? So she continues to go on to say that she has had to bribe her kids to watch movies such as Heathers, which I only just recently saw myself. Heathers, There's Something About Mary, and Beavis and Butthead. Now, Heathers is a cult classic. It's a brilliant movie. It's awesome. I love it. But There's Something About Mary, Beavis and Butthead? Why are you showing your kids There's Something About Mary? And that's definitely a movie that is made for more mature audiences. And I don't know how old all of her kids are, but she does mention having a 13-year-old. So it's kind of like, why are you showing them that movie? They're not going to get it. They're not going to care. They're not in like some romantic comedy stage of their life. Beavis and Butthead, like honestly, fuck those guys because they always terrified me. I mean, I can't understand why nobody would be interested in a show that has really disgustingly drawn characters. Couldn't get it. And they're also, those two examples, Beavis and Butthead, There's Something About Mary, they're not classic cinema, so what we're holding the bar to right now is not that high. I would argue that Pixar films actually implement larger themes into their movies. The Incredibles is an absolutely perfect example of this because The Incredibles on the surface for a child is a superhero movie, but it actually deals with a lot of adult themes like hating your job, so unfulfillment in the workplace, marriage issues, and a midlife crisis. Obviously, kids aren't going to get that when they're like 6 or 10. But when you watch movies like that as a child, grow a sentiment for it, and go back to it, you think, oh, wow, like it resonates with you now on a different level because maybe you're in that phase of your life where you do hate your job, or maybe you've had a relationship problem. And it just means even more to you as you grow. So Pixar are actually not treating their child audience like they're stupid because kids don't just watch mindless things, and these scripts are not thoughtless. And the same could be said for Toy Story. Now, I mentioned this one because in the article she specifically mentions Toy Story. Toy Story carries a lot of themes with it, from jealousy to loss, friendship, and letting go. Like, these movies are deep. And they're not just mindlessly there. It's not like they have no deeper meaning. We have to take into account culture. Culture changes over time. With a culture shift comes an entertainment shift. So culture immediately affects things like art, which cinema is a part of. For example, a movie like Porky's that came out in 1981 would never land today as a new movie. But it did have its heyday in the 1980s when that type of awful humor, sorry if you like Porky's, was acceptable. It's I've seen Porky's. It's not funny. There's a big generational shift. So of course, like someone from that time period might have found it funny. I did not find it funny. I didn't think, it didn't resonate with me. And things change over time. So it can't be expected that every generation enjoys the entertainment that came before it. Kids don't understand really serious themes. That's not to say that kids are not intelligent, but just like a kid could not resonate to marriage issues being shown in The Incredibles, kids also couldn't really relate to escaping Germany in The Sound of Music. And I mentioned The Sound of Music because the journalist has made a point that that's a classic film. It is a classic film, and it's an amazing musical. But even me myself, who is like loves musical theater, didn't grow to appreciate that movie until I was like 16, going on 17. I think it's just because at that point in your life, you know more about history. You understand you're understanding more the plot and what's going on and the themes and everything. So, of course, you're going to be able to hold your attention span at that age because you understand more. So, I just think that more than Pixar ruining classic cinema or any sort of cinema at all, it has actually propelled cinema forward. Like The Incredibles is a great example. Ratatouille is a wonderful example. I felt like that movie had a lot of moments that were very beautiful and they're amazing, and that's one of my favorite films ever. But it's not one of those big action packed movies that just is there to keep your attention. And it has a real story and real heart to it. So to argue that Pixar movies are ruining cinema and your kids' attention span is probably not it. I think Pixar is teaching kids and audiences everywhere of every age empathy and a lot of emotionally intelligent themes. So, attention span, I think we can blame that on Michael Bay. Anyway, so that was just on my mind. It was on my heart. I love Pixar. Like I said, they teach life lessons about friendship and loyalty and empathy. And when you grow older, and you go back and watch those movies, it's even better because you can understand the really hard or emotional themes of those films. So they're relatable to anyone at any age. So that is all I had for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this discussion, and I will hopefully be posting more regularly since I am done with my first term of my master's program, and that was eating me alive for a while. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching, and maybe give a thumbs up and subscribe. And yeah, thanks.